If you're looking for some extra support on the front of your Sprinter 3500 motorhome or van, front Sumo Springs can be a great option. But if not installed properly, there can be some major issues for you down the road. In this video, we're going to talk about what to watch out for and what kind of benefits you can expect from a ride height standpoint.
Tech Time Tuesday.
First, let's talk about what Sumo Springs are and what they're replacing on the chassis. Here we have a front factory bump stop. This is from the front of this 2021 Sprinter 3500 dual rear wheel drive chassis. It's a Winnebago Navion. And what we did is we removed these front bump stops. So this is the stopping point, basically to keep your suspension from having a metal-on-metal contact when it bottoms out. This hard rubber gets engaged. So it gets replaced with something like this. So there are two different models of front Sumo Springs. Now, models of front Sumo Springs available for this chassis. Sumo Springs themselves, it's a microcellular polyurethane. And so what that allows is for it to be constantly engaged because it does have a progressive rising rate to its spring rate, as opposed to this rubber is pretty rigid. It doesn't really have a lot of give to it. So what we do is we replace the factory front bump stops with the Sumo Springs. So you'll notice the one here, this black kind of accordion-shaped convoluted unit here, that is the SSF-106-47. Those are the black front Sumo Springs available for this. And this is the blue SSF-106-40. So Sumo Springs, different colors represent different durometers, essentially. So the SSF-106-47 that we installed, those are the stronger units that are available for this chassis. We wanted to see just how much of a difference we could make in terms of ride height on this, and that's why we went with the black units. If you're looking for something a little more compliant, the blue units are another option as well. They're going to give a softer ride, not quite as much additional support. You may have noticed, looking at the front of this Sprinter, that there is a unique object, this blue object. This is an auxiliary front sway bar, and this is still in development, and really encourage you to subscribe to learn more about this in coming Tech Time videos. We will be sharing more about that in the future. So what did we find out? Well, installing these front Sumos, we wanted to check before and after ride height measurements. We wanted to see just how much lift we would get out of this, the front of this coach. And what we found out is we gained over a ½ inch on both sides. So our initial measurements were 3/4 of an inch and 7/8 of an inch lift on both sides, which is pretty significant. You know, if you're encountering situations where you're scraping in certain areas, front Sumo Springs can be a very effective, simple option for providing some additional ride height in the front of your coach. But, and this is where that comment about the mistake comes in, because the Sprinter is an independent front suspension vehicle, anytime you change ride height on an IFS vehicle, you potentially can change the alignment. And we found on this Sprinter, that was no exception. So we took a reading before and after of toe and camber, and found that the toe, so toe is essentially, if you're looking from the top of the vehicle, are your wheels pointed together at the front? That's toe in. Are they splayed out? That's toe out. We found that the toe did not change, but the camber did change. Now the camber, that is the angle looking from the front or back at which the wheels are tilted. If they're tilted toward the coach at the top, that's negative camber. If they're tilted out, that's positive camber. Now, some vehicles such as this Sprinter do call for some positive camber. We took a reading before. On the left side, we were 7/10. On the right side, we were 5/10, and that is within spec. However, after installing these Sumos, we gained enough ride height that our camber was now outside of the allowable specification. So we were 1.1 on the left and 1.0 on the right. So that's outside of specification for positive camber. That can cause improper tire wear, as well as just impacts the way the coach drives, and not for the best. So we want to make you guys aware that if you do front Sumos on your Sprinter, we do highly, highly recommend that you have the alignment checked afterward. Most likely it is going to need to be adjusted because you've changed that ride height. But Sumo Springs themselves are a very effective way of gaining some more ride height. It's not going to be a huge difference, but 1/2 inch to 3/4 of an inch, that can make a difference. And for something so simple to install as just unbolting your factory bump stop and bolting this unit in can be a good way to go. So we hope this information was valuable to you. Please remember to like and subscribe if you find it informational. And until next time, we want to wish you safer and happier driving.
Tech Time Tuesday.